welcome to the Soccer Dad Radio Podcast.
Radio podcast is what it is.
And this is Matt.
This is Ryan.
And we are just two dads that got a mic and want to talk about youth soccer.
Got the mic in hand. We got zero experience with the podcast, but we're doing our thing.
Yeah, it's one of those things we've wanted to do, and we're heavily involved in soccer, and there isn't, I don't know how you'd say, there isn't really much content out there regarding youth soccer, so we thought, why not get together and we'd provide some perspective, some knowledge, and dive into the subject of youth soccer and see what we could provide for people.
Kind of wanted to take the soccer forums to the next level. The forums used to be pretty big in the past, but they'd kind of died off, and thought that with the direction of podcasts, that this would be a great kind of outlet for parents. Want to do some interviews down the road, and so Matt and I came up with this idea, and we're rolling with it.
So a little bit on backgrounds. I'll start first. I've been playing soccer since age 5, so I've been involved with soccer for about 30 plus years. I've coached, I've played, and now I'm parenting. And that's probably the hardest one, is parenting, I would think. But I've got 2 girls that are involved with soccer right now, ages 12 and 14, so it's been a fun ride, and it's getting pretty competitive.
Now, my background with soccer it's not quite to the extent that Matt's is. I haven't been around the game for 30 plus years. I think I played 2 rec seasons, discovered that it wasn't a sport for me per se, so I went a different route with sports. But now, just a parent on the sideline for the past, I think I'm going on my 8th season. And it's kind of crazy just to see where I started as a parent on the sideline and where I'm at now.
That's huge. It's a big change.
It definitely is.
Especially if you can audit yourself and you're, self-aware enough to take a step back, and, it's kind of funny because you once were that parent that was screaming and coaching, and then now you take a step back and you watch the others do it, and you're kind of like, learned a little bit.
Oh, for sure. And just seeing some of my family members that are just getting started in the game with club soccer and seeing where they're at, and I can kind of relate because I was in, hey, I'm going to call him out, Brandon, my brother-in-law, in his shoes. And he's called me with some questions because he knows that I have experience with navigating the field. And it's just kind of comical to me, just being at the games every weekend and seeing how some of the parents act.
So yeah, why the Soccer Dad podcast? We want to expose the reality of youth soccer. There's a lot of misconceptions out there, inaccuracies, and we have plenty of connections, and we're involved enough on a day-to-day basis, it seems, that we can bring some knowledge. We could bring some knowledge to a bunch of topics and situations, and bring discussion to it. There's some things that need to be talked about that aren't being addressed, and kind of focus on, let's see, what am I trying to say?
I think there's some topics out there that people don't want to touch. Yeah. And I think with this show, with this podcast, we're actually going to touch upon those. There may be times when we're not very PC, but we just want to keep this 100% real and, true to our character and what we see. If there's even something with the club that we're associated with, guess what? They're not off limits as well.
Yeah, it's definitely not PC. I mean, everyone is fair game. So, whether it's stuff we hear on the sidelines or within our own teams and clubs, and that's the worst thing you can do is not bring items to the table and talk about them. So we definitely want to do that as best we can.
For sure. I just want to go off of what Matt said, and the reason for this podcast, it's also the parent's perspective. Matt and I being around the game for so long and being parents now and sitting on the sidelines. So we want to bring that perspective to this. Also our observations on the game and sideline behavior, coaching, just the overall, everything that ties into club soccer. And we want to talk about what's good, what's working, what's bad, and maybe where some clubs need to focus or where the sport needs to focus for improvement.
And we're not at all coming into this as, hey, we're going to tell you how to play soccer or coach you. We're coming in this as parents. Like, we're full-time parents. We're well qualified for this. So we're just giving our perspective and what needs to happen and things we're seeing, and I know there's a lot of, like I said, misconceptions out there. So we wanna put those to rest and make sure parents have the right idea and the right knowledge of what's going on and what to expect at the next levels. And I mean, we're talking anything from rec to club to middle school to high school to college to beyond college to what's the ECNL, what's the academy, what's the difference. There's a lot to talk about. So we have plenty of content coming.
Definitely do. Agree with you 100% there.
And I mean, we'll just go. I know we have players. You spoke with some previous players. We have coaches, obviously, plenty of coaches, trainers. We have some athletes and other people from other sports as well, because there's a lot of crossover in between the two sports, whether it be baseball or UFC or basketball, football. You know, there's a lot of similarities in the youth sports, and there's a lot of similarities actually for the parents too. Soccer is probably one of the less dramatic as far as politics go on the sidelines, from what I've heard. I mean, baseball, I've heard, can get pretty
dicey. Pop Warner's whole another animal.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of this isn't just for the soccer community, I guess. It could cross over into some others. So definitely, you know, and we are reaching out to everybody. If you have a topic or a question that you want to address or you want us to address,
feel free to give Matt a call. His phone number is...
Yeah, give me a call. Hit me up on Twitter chat. But no, for reals, like we want you guys to reach out to us, because we could be missing something, and there could be something that we could actually talk to somebody about and have access to.
That's about it. Just want to kind of highlight that, you know, we want this to be entertaining as well. We don't want it to be a boring show. And by having on some of our guest speakers for the interviews, I think that will be pretty insightful for both players and parents. You know, we want to keep this fun, and we just want to be ourselves and be real.
Yeah, and again, like you referenced earlier, podcast experience, the level is at 0. So don't expect a lot of fancy stuff from us. We are still working our way through and trying to get some of this down, and we're learning. We're learning about all the channels and how to upload and all this stuff. So it's a work in progress, but we thank you guys for being there.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Are we wrapping it up now?
I think so.
I think so. So that's episode number 1 of Soccer Dad Radio. Definitely looking forward to getting episode 2 out probably in a week or so. And thanks for listening. And Matt's going to spit off our social media handles.
Yeah, we're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Everything is Soccer Dad Radio. So some of the URLs aren't there yet, but if you just search Soccer Dad Radio, you'll be able to find it. We'll be posting some video clips on Soccer Dad Radio to follow up with the podcast sessions in case you miss some pieces. YouTube will also have them as well. But yeah, thanks for listening, and we're going to try to do this at least a weekly show, if not more.
Yep.
It'll just depend on time, and we'll do some live stuff too, like on the field. It'd be great to get some live perspective from players or events that might be going on.
Yeah, maybe we'll mic up the sidelines so you can hear what goes down on the
I think that would be one of the best ones, man. If we could mic the sideline and just you could hear what some of these parents say
and grandparents.
Oh, grandparents. It doesn't end there. People that aren't even associated with the teams will walk over and say stuff. So. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Thank you. Appreciate you listening. And again, this is available. This will be on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud. You can get us whatever your favorite listening device is.
Because we fancy like that.
Yeah, we fancy. So be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you guys later.
Catch you later. Thanks again.